Leadership is critical when you're trying to implement any major initiative that's going to transform an organization. And there's two things that is really critical. One is for an individual who's leading is to have that expertise and knowledge about what you need to do and surround themselves with people who are going to architect those solutions and help them lead that change. So that's sort of more around the level of expertise. But then a good leader also, to be successful in any sort of major transformation of an organization, needs to be inspiring those in the organization so that everybody can get aligned with the big change that's coming. Oftentimes these type of transformations make people a little fearful. What's their role? Their role may change. The way they operate and do their job is certainly going to change if the initiative's going to have the intended effect that you're trying to accomplish. Having a leader that is frequently communicating and articulating what the vision is for the initiative, why it's happening in the first place, and really critically what everyone's role in the organization is with the project, with the major initiative. So up and down from the people who have their feet on the street all the way up to middle management and the executive team. Everybody up and down needs to have the same message and all be aligned around what the roadmap looks like and what the objectives are. Secondly, I think over-communicating again and again through monthly meetings, through town halls, through emails, talking about critical milestones within an initiative and celebrating successes, pointing out any opportunity where some change or shift in the direction needs to take place. Communicating that to everybody again up and down the organization is really critical to achieve success. The best leaders I've ever worked with in an organization doing something that was a fundamental change, they talked to everybody. They had listening tours. They answered people's questions and really sort of took an attitude where they had to educate, inspire, and be there to listen and answer questions that folks had about what the change would mean to them and their job. One of the things that DLT does really well, in my particular role, I work in the Office of the Chief Technology. So my peers and I have firsthand knowledge and experience in the roles that we do. I'm a chief data scientist. My colleague is a cyber technologist, and he and I have both literally lived and breathed the jobs that we represent and educate government leaders on. So we have a lot of breadth of experience, also using the different types of technologies that DLT partners with clients to bring and accelerate within the public sector. One of the things I like best about my job and why I love working for DLT is I get to actually meet with the CDO. So we have a number of acts that exist in the government, the Open Data Act, the Federal Data Strategy. All of these things are creating new roles in the federal government that haven't existed before around chief data officers. And many of these people are going into an organization and having to educate and lead in an area that is really nascent and new for many of these organizations. What I like to do is to meet with some of these folks who are taking these roles and literally give them personal experiences that I've had creating organizations like this and talking about strategies for doing the change management piece and how to prioritize the various initiatives that are going to be thrown at them. Having those type of conversations I find really interesting, and because I definitely have a vested interest to make sure that these individuals in these roles succeed. A second thing is DLT works with clients, so a fun thing I get to do is in the world of AI, I get to meet with a lot of startup companies who are creating these new type of AI methodologies and workloads, and get to see exactly what they do. Most of their work that they have started with is in the commercial space, and so I like to help these clients take some of their use cases in the commercial space and create those use cases in the federal space. As we know, the federal government is a very different animal, and so for many of these folks, their foray into the federal government is through DLT. And so again, the folks at DLT have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, have worked in the government, have a lot of folks connected and networks in the government, so we can really help facilitate that transition to our technology clients. Yeah. So one of the things that DLT does really well in our distributor aggregation role, unlike other companies, is we are solely focused on bringing solutions to the public sector. So technology companies have one point solution. They may be part of a larger piece of a solution. DLT can go and work closely with customers in the federal government. We see what the requirements are, and we see the entire solution that's required to actually execute on a deliverable. And in each of our technology domains, we have the different pieces, and we can go into an organization, assess what they have, and then see the pieces that are required in order to deliver on the solution that the public sector is seeking. So that's definitely something that's very unique that we do, that other companies working in this area do not necessarily have that capability to do that. Yeah, I think the collaboration between ICIT and DLT, I think, is a good one in the following sense. ICIT is very focused on policy and education, and it complements with what we do at DLT. We do the education piece on the latest and greatest technologies. We also know all the methodologies. We know the status quo in the federal government, so we can be actionable in terms of understanding what policy is being implemented, what strategic plans with some of these frameworks are, and we can advise literally what organizations need to do as a first step and bring them the solutions within our technology domains to bear upon their particular scenario. Again, that's part of one of the things that is really powerful about the relationship between ICIT and DLT.